What performance measurements should be used to assess the success of a school district?
Well, test scores are one obvious measure, but they should be one among many. I think that in this time of transition, especially to new standards, et cetera, that the standardized testing has produced some sort of shifts in the way we need to instruct and measure progress for our students. And I think that the district is in the process, good process, of trying to set internal goals and then, as has been the tradition in Wilton, measure ourselves against our comparable districts, the New Canaans, Westports, et cetera. So that's one way to measure, is to look at your test scores to see your year-to-year growth, to also compare yourselves to neighboring districts to see how you're doing on test scores, to see if you're high, low, in the middle, and then where the trend is going. The other thing to do is look at cohort scores, how are kids, same group of kids, doing through the years. So those are the quantifiable measures, but then there are surveys in terms of school climate. I know that the school is measuring that. There are participation rates in clubs and activities that are a sign of health. There are surveys of kids about how they feel about their school climate. We also look at, I know, college acceptance rates and...
Thank you so much.
Et cetera. Thank you.
Ms. Jeanes, same question.
So test scores obviously are the first thing. I think what this school has, the school district has done is we have a few different tests right now that do measure, and I think that is helping as far as it gives one data point to each test, but it also, you need to look at what the student is doing and within their classroom with their teacher. I think that unfortunately we are in a world that everyone needs to quantify everything, and people are going to regard the test scores as the end all to be all. If there is a way that we can work it out so that it can be a test score from, say, the MAP test, the OLSAT, and all of the progress that each child is doing, and sort of bundle that into something, that would be ideal. That's maybe in my own world, but I'm hoping that would be something that we could work out. It is also, it's difficult because I think as long as we can compare ourselves to the DRG with these test scores, if we can sort of implement that way, it would be ideal. But I think that, I just lost my train of thought.
That's fine. That's fine.
So, but I do think that also it's really what the teachers'
Thank you so much. Ms. Preston.
Yes, could you just repeat the question, please?
Of course.
Yeah.
What performance measurements should be used to assess the success of a school district?
All right. I think a lot of those have been touched on, but I think, of course, test scores, looking to our test scores, seeing if there's year-over-year improvement. I also think we should be looking at the climate surveys among parents, students, and teachers to make sure they are in alignment. I think another thing that was touched on was to see the number of our students who are getting into top-tier schools. What I would like to say is that I think it's very encouraging that our high school students are doing quite well on the SATs and ACTs, and that we also saw more than 800 AP exams were taken in recent year by our high school students. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hemmerle.
Okay. Well, there are any number of ways to measure performance. We have SAT scores that we look at, and our students do extremely well. In fact, we are the best. We have ACT scores. We have MAP tests. We have AP course grades that we look at. One of the things I would find intriguing, and I've asked, it's hard to measure. We obviously tout our college acceptances, but that's a moving target. And this year at Barron's, which is one of the guides we use, has kind of readjusted and moved some schools around. But we do have a relatively good showing in our students getting admitted to highly competitive and competitive schools and universities. My question is, how many of them graduate in 4 years? You know, how many get through it in 4 years, get out, and are successful? And that's a hard number to get to, but I find that would be, I think, an outstanding way of measuring our school systems from kindergarten through 12th grade, preparation for our students to have a successful life and get on in life. It's hard to measure, hard to get out because schools don't report all of that, but I think I'd be curious about that. How many graduate in 4 years as they go into college?
Thank you. Ms. Low, would you care to rebut?
Well, maybe just add, there actually are some measures of college persistence rates and how many kids graduate within 5 or 6 years. That's collected through a national sort of clearinghouse. So we could find that, and that is helpful information. I also think another mark of a good school system is our faculty and how many teachers come and stay, rather than sort of use it as a launching point to get to another district. And Wilton's tradition seems to be that teachers come and they stay because it's a great environment to work, and that makes a big difference for our
you.
kids.
Ms. Jeanes, would you care for another 30 seconds?
No, that's okay, thank you.
All right. Ms. Preston and Mr. Hemmerle. All right.